Well, I'd like to welcome Paul and Susie Childers into the studio from A Voice for the Voiceless. Lovely to have both of you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Now, Paul, let's go to you first. Tell us what A Voice for the Voiceless is all about.
A Voice for the Voiceless is to see change come in the world for issues of injustice. And the way that we approach it initially is through photography. And we use photography to advocate for issues around the world of justice. And it's amazing to see how this has developed around the world, in South Africa, and all over the place. But essentially what we want to see is issues of injustice confronted, and actually people actually doing something and working against it. So.
Susie, why photography?
Oh, well, I'm a photographer.
Right.
When I was 15, I got an apprenticeship as a photographer. And when God called me into missions, I felt it was connected to photography. And so it became part of our lives.
Right. And you go all over the world taking photographs. What are some of the places that have made the most impact in your life?
I would say Afghanistan, North Africa, several parts of North Africa, and the Amazon. Definitely the Amazon. Scary place.
And Paul, you're involved in a number of practical ways as well with A Voice for the Voiceless. Tell us about some of those.
We have a team in South Africa that work in the townships, actually, of South Africa, and just really helping people, empower people to kind of get going in life. If life has kind of treated them a really bad hand, our guys are there to give moral support and to really help them just get back going again. And so in South Africa, we have a team down there. We also have a developing project that's just new, actually, as a response to human trafficking. And so we're just getting going in that, but we are also trying to advocate in the context of government to try and see how we can see things changed for good in different parts of the world. And so those are some of the things that we like to do, yeah.
Now, Susie, one of the things that you have addressed is infanticide. Explain to us exactly what that is.
Infanticide is the killing of children. And there are several reasons why that happens, especially in the Amazon area. It's if a child is born to a single mother, or if it's a twin or a triplet, or if a child is born with a disability, they have no right to live. They believe, the Indian tribes believe that there's an evil spirit in that child and it has to be killed. And the way they kill their children is through burying them alive, so that the last breath that comes out of their mouth is under the earth. So the evil god would be killed with the death of the child.
Now tell us a little bit about Hakani, the story that you made your book about.
Yeah, about a year ago, 1.5 years ago, I met a girl called Hakani. Today she's 12 years old, but she was buried alive when she was 1.5 years old because she didn't develop properly. She couldn't speak, she couldn't walk, and so the tribe put pressure on the parents to kill her, and they couldn't do it, so both of the parents committed suicide. And so the responsibility fell on her older brother, and he buried her alive, but she cried so much that when she was buried alive, that her other brother took her out and took care of her. But he was very much limited in what he could do, so for 3.5 years she was totally abandoned. At the age of 5.5, she was brought to a missionary couple from Youth of the Mission, and she was 69 centimeters long and 7 kilograms heavy. So she was like a few months old baby. Yeah. And they took her to a doctor, and the doctor said she will not die, but she will never be normal. And all what this couple did was they loved her, and they pepped her up. In a year she had doubled her weight and her size, and today she's at the stage of a 7-year-old. She goes to a normal school, and she's a very vibrant, happy, alive child where you think, where's the button to switch her off?
And so you've got a book about her.
Yeah, we created a book called A Voice for Life, where we advocate against infanticide, and we want to raise awareness about this issue and also bring change to the government of Brazil. They are not confronting this issue, and so we are not allowed to take children out for them to be adopted, and it's not against the law to actually kill your children. So we're pushing a law through in Brazil to see that infanticide will be eradicated. Yeah.
Now, Paul, you've had some success in this already. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we started an international campaign with the book and the DVD that's been done for it, a kind of a recreation of the story, of Hakani's story. And it's really taken off in terms of the amount of media coverage that we've gotten internationally as well as in Brazil. And basically what happened is it has pushed the Brazilian government to begin to address the issue. And the bill is called Moagi's Law, after the first Indigenous woman who actually said no to her tribe. I wouldn't actually kill my handicapped daughter. And so we were able to get it through the Human Rights Subcommittee, but then when it got to the level of the Congress where it needed to be voted on in an emergency session, the president actually closed it down because we had gotten quite some backlash against us. But you know, the people that actually wrote the Mwaji's law and the bill actually inserted about 80% of the provisions into the provisions of another law that was being looked at, and that kind of sailed through. So we have a much better tool in our hands to actually be able to help these kids. And whenever we can actually, when we hear about one of these kids in danger, we can actually much more on solid ground go in and help them. But the greatest thing I think that's happening right now is within the Indigenous communities, there's a movement against infanticide that is growing. So it's not people coming in from the outside saying you've got to do this or that. But this has germinated a seed thought, like maybe we don't have to do this. Maybe there's an alternative. And so, you know, there's been high-level discussions even this last week to end it.
Susie, what gives you the most excitement about what you do? What is it that gets you up in the morning about Voice for the Voiceless?
Oh, it's definitely the people. I'm such a people person, and you know, you can easily get overwhelmed by the issues of our days.
Yeah.
But once you meet one person out of 150 million or something, and you hear their story, and it touches your heart, you're never going to be the same. So it's not the easy kind of people we meet, it's not the easy things we target, but it's the most fulfilling thing you can ever do with your life. Because you know you're working for something bigger than yourself and for the next generation.
Paul, how can people listening get involved? They're perhaps thinking, I'm sitting here in New Zealand, how can I get involved? What can they do?
Okay, they can go onto our website, www.hakani.org, and that has all of the information about where we are currently. You can also see a little bit of a clip of the movie, and so forth. And also there's a lot of action points as well that people can be involved, can be praying and writing, and that will enable people to get you know, empowered to do something. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been wonderful chatting to both of you. And of course, you can go along to your website as well, at voiceforthevoiceless.com.
That's correct.
And see the wonderful work that you do. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.